This is Newsroom. Hello and welcome from Johannesburg here in South Africa. I'm Eben Jansen. The show is live. It's broadcast from our studios in Auckland Park. We're also streaming live on YouTube right now with our show available on demand on our YouTube channel. Today, we take a look at the shocking murder of the Fana captain Senzo Mayiwa. Then we talk slacktivism, celebrities and others using causes for self-promotion instead of real activism. What are your views? Then the BRICS conference opens in Kimberley tomorrow, and we conclude today's show with our African innovation slot. We'll be joined by Innovation. But first, here's the day's news with Katrina Miller.
Well, hello and welcome to Newsroom. I'm Katrina Miller, and let's take a look at the top stories this morning. A multidisciplinary police task team has intensified its search for the killers of soccer star Senzo Mayiwa, who was shot and killed in forced arrest east of Johannesburg on Sunday night. Forensic experts are busy compiling identikits of the killers. A reward of 250,000 rand has been offered to anyone with information that will lead to the arrest of those responsible. Details of Mayiwa's funeral are yet to be released. His death has left the country reeling in grief.
Senzo tried to hide Kelly's phone under the sofa. They shot him.
By the time we got there to try and help him to put him in the car, he was looking very powerless and hurt. So we put him in the car and then they drove to the hospital.
What is going on in this country? Really, it's bad. No, it's bad.
I would like to see them, and I want them to talk why they killed my son.
Meanwhile, Orlando Pirates spokesperson Mickey Modisani has appealed to people on social media to stop being judgmental concerning Mayiwa's killing and allow the police to conduct their investigations and give the family time to grieve.
Those who hated him, unfortunately, at their own peril. But he was just one guy with an open heart, you know, and that's one thing that we will always remember him for. He would listen. He made mistakes. He was a human being, you know. But wherever we spoke to him about those, he would pull back from that.
The honeymoon murder trial of British businessman Shreen Devani continues in the Western Cape High Court this morning. The shuttle taxi driver convicted of his wife Annie's murder, state witness Zola Tongo, is expected to continue his testimony. Yesterday, he told the court how he met Devani in November 2010 and how Devani allegedly arranged with him to have someone killed. Judgment against the man accused of raping and killing 3 Diepsloot children will be delivered in the High Court in Pretoria today. Tukozo Hadebe has denied raping and murdering the toddlers last year. The state has asked for Hadebe's conviction on 3 charges of murder, 3 of kidnapping and 6 of rape. Paralympian Oscar Pistorius' legal team might be back in court within days. This after the National Prosecuting Authority confirmed that it will appeal both the Pistorius judgment and sentencing. Pistorius was sentenced to 5 years in prison for culpable homicide. NPA spokesperson Nadim Mube says the appeal on the conviction is based on a question of law.
At this point in time, we've just informing the public that we have made a decision. We'll file our papers in due course within the next few days. And our reasons for appealing would then become evident from those papers.
And NUMSA says it will reinstate its court challenge to force the Kusatu leadership to convene a special national congress. The union suspended the action earlier in the year when it agreed to participate in a facilitation process that the ANC had spearheaded. A special CEC is scheduled for the 7th of next month when NUMSA is expected to defend itself against expulsion. NUMSA yesterday announced that it will be forging ahead with the launch of its own political party, but will remain a Kusatu affiliate.
The ANC task team effectively handed over Vavi to their faction to deal with and isolated NUMSA and thereby prepared the ground for its expulsion from the Federation.
Now, all these top stories and more are available on our Newsroom Facebook page. You can also follow us on Twitter at SABC Newsroom. Eben, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Katrina. The South African Police Service set up a multidisciplinary task team consisting of top regional and national detectives to investigate the fatal shooting of Bafana Bafana captain Senzo Meyiwa. National Police Commissioner Riapiecha told a media briefing in Johannesburg that investigators were dispatched to the scene of the crime in Koroleni. That was at Meyiwa's girlfriend Kelly Khumalo's house where the shooting took place. The singer and actress Khumalo was seen leaving her home in Vosloorus, and police have cordoned off the house along with that of a neighbouring house as well. The mood at Orlando Pirates' camp has been described as highly emotional, with Senzo's teammates openly weeping after hearing the news. The Premier Soccer League has postponed the Soweto derby as well. That was supposed to take place between arch rivals Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs over the weekend. Addressing a media briefing attended by South African soccer bigwigs, an emotional Bafana Bafana coach, Ephraim Shakes Mashaba, described how Senzo Meyiwa carried the team through the African Cup of Nations qualifiers without conceding a goal in 4 matches. Now, in studio today, we are joined by the man who's been on the story for the last couple of days, really. That's our own reporter, Manqoba Mkunu. Very good morning, Manqoba. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
There's been a lot of speculation and loose talk, really, most of it on social media, about this case. Where is this case right now?
Well, at the moment, police are investigating. We saw them yesterday going to the crime scene in Vosloorus where this took place. We saw forensic experts. We saw crime scene experts. We also saw a team of forensic detectives that have been assigned to this case, also coming there, talking to the family, talking to neighbors, and also trying to piece together really what happened on that night. And as well as we also saw also people, the community at large, coming out to hear and to really find out what went there.
You mentioned the community. It must be a community that's in total shock. Spread View is actually the neighborhood that this shooting took place in.
Yes. Actually, the community there was very shocked and in disbelief about what happened yesterday, because they say that although there is crime in the area, it's just petty crime, like robberies, like your muggings and so forth. So this type of a crime where somebody was actually shot in a house, it came as a big shock to them, and they're really calling for those suspects to be really arrested by police, and even saying that even they themselves, of the community members, are willing to work with police, are willing to share any information or any leads that they might have should they get any information.
What about the high-profile girlfriend Kelly Khumalo? We've seen a lot of attacks on her on social media. Most of it really judgmental and quite uncalled for. Do we know where she is now and what her whereabouts really about? Has anyone managed to speak to her at all?
Well, as far as we know, at this current stage, Kelly Khumalo is at her home in Vosloorus where the shooting took place. That's where she was when Senzo Meyiwa had come to visit. We did try to speak to her yesterday, but all our attempts failed because the family was just simply too traumatized yesterday to even speak to the media. They didn't want to even go to close to journalists. In fact, when Kelly Khumalo drove out of the house, she also, did this hastily, trying to avoid, obviously, the media from even getting an opportunity. Her mother also walked past to the neighboring house. We tried to talk to her. She also didn't want to talk. But we could see the devastation on Kelly Khumalo's face as she drove out of that house, going to the police station. We know that the family is still traumatized, and we know that they're still receiving some sort of trauma counseling from the police services.
Now we've seen the clubs come together and the community come together. The Soweto derby, unheard of, has been postponed in honor of Senzo. Do we know how the rest of the week will will proceed in this case?
Well, what we know so far is that the investigation is still at its early stages. The detectives and all the crime experts are busy still sifting through the information that they have. So we are expecting maybe the police to also come forward with regards to what they have so far, looking at things like maybe the post-mortem results as what could have caused his death. You know, things like that. We're expecting to hear more from the police side, as well as that identikit. We know that some of the neighbors have given a description of what those suspects look like. So we're hoping to see some sort of identikit or some sort of information coming out as to identify or try to identify these suspects.
And those will probably come to light today. But I want to conclude our chat quickly, Mangoba, and just talk about South Africa and violence and the way that this country is perceived. If anywhere else in the world the national captain of your football team is gunned down, it would be the biggest story of that year.
Certainly, Eben, and it's again a wake-up call to South Africa in terms of crime. And, you know, it's an everyday thing, but when really a national captain of the national team is killed, it's really a wake-up call to all of us and also to officials with regards to crime. Let us all play our part in trying to really tackle crime in our communities and also at a national level. So it's a real wake-up call. It's a painful story that we always have to, really talk about waking up when something like this happens. But it's really to say to us, South Africa, it's time that we really need to do something about crime.
Mangoba, thank you for joining us today. Of course, the man on the scene will keep us updated throughout the rest of the week as to how this story develops. Thank you for joining us and giving us a little bit of an insight into a very difficult story to carry and a very difficult story for us as South Africans to deal with. Of course, a little bit later, David Kekana will join us and he'll talk about Senzo, the football player, the difference that this man has made to a national side that's been ailing in recent time. Now, just to recap, a multidisciplinary police task team has intensified its search for the killers of Bafana Bafana captain Senzo Miyiwa. He was shot and killed in Vosloorus, east of Johannesburg, on Sunday night.
The motive was theft. 3 men were demanding cell phones, again highlighting the pervasiveness of crime in South Africa.
Senzo tried to hide Kelly's phone under the sofa. They shot him.
Neighbor Leslie Ngache was watching television when he heard a commotion.
We heard a gunshot. Then I started seeing that something is happening.
Ngache's son Lukanya was among the first on the scene.
It was a sad moment because he was very injured, and by the time we got there to try and help him to put him in the car, he was looking very powerless and hurt. So we put him in the car and then they drove to the hospital. And then we got a phone call later that he had passed out. Yeah.
It's left a community reeling.
But what is going on in this country? Really, it's bad. No, it's bad.
Miyiwa's girlfriend is equally distraught. Now up to 250,000 rand is on offer for anyone with information. And a multidisciplined police task team has been appointed.
The police chief was at pains to point out that this high-profile murder was not receiving preferential treatment and that all the resources deployed were not unique to just this case. They say they're following several strong leads.
There is no preferential treatment in terms of how we deal with issues of rewards.
Criselda Lewis, SABC News, in Johannesburg.
Well, I'm joined now by David Kekana, soccer analyst, well-known soccer analyst actually here in South Africa, and a man who has close links to Orlando Pirates for the last 20 years, really. David, this is not just a body blow to Orlando Pirates. It's a body blow to South African football at a time when it seemed we found somebody that could lead our national team out of the doldrums where we've been for the last decade almost.
Yeah, I mean, 10 years of no fruits at all. And South Africa has been craving for something special from their national team. I mean, we always are talking about the 1996 team because that is the only symbol that we can cling to that really represents success as far as South Africa is concerned. And now Sheikh Mashaba has taken a team of youngsters as well as a mixture of players that have got experience. And, you know, this current race that Sheikhs has embarked on is so important because we have not qualified for any tournament since 2006. The qualifications that happened beyond that happened because we were hosts. There has been a lull as far as the national team is concerned, and here comes this young boy who has kept 4 clean sheets in 4 qualifiers, which is something unheard of. I mean, people think that Senzo Maiwa has been a national asset for quite a long time. No, Senzo has only played in 7 matches for Bafana Bafana. Yeah. He's kept 6 clean sheets, conceded only 1 goal against Australia. Yeah. That's a remarkable achievement that he's achieved at Bafana Bafana. Before that, he's played second fiddles to Itumeleng Khune.
It's amazing that you say that he's played so little for Bafana Bafana, and you think the impact that he's made. He's really a guy that's led this young team so well. Talk to us about the man himself, the guy that you've interacted with on one-on-one.
Well, a guy with a smile. I used to call him the guy with a smile, because Senzo, whenever you arrive and you're speaking to him, that's the first thing that you see, the smile. But it is how genuine behind that smile the guy is, that you see that he means everything when he embraces you, when he chats to you. One thing about him, I mean, I've been relating a story. 2 months ago, Orlando Pirates played at Orlando Stadium at night on a Saturday, and I was in Durban already, having done a game during the day in Durban. At around about 1 o'clock in the hotel lobby, there is Senzo Maiwa, and he's calling me, and I'm thinking, who is this from a distance? I'm going towards him and say, Senzo, it can't be you. You just played now. He says, no, I played, and after playing, I drove. I said, that's not the way to do it, my brother. You remember Leslie Manyatela? And he said, yes. He said, but I was safe. I just had to drive. And I said, it better be good what you had to drive all the way from Joburg. That's it. But he was a guy with such a big heart. Somebody that really was the unifying force behind Orlando Pirates. I mean, these are the type of players that Ivan Khoza like. I mean, he likes people with a lot of humility, somebody who likes peace within a side. And Senzo was that type. I spoke to Lucky Lukhwati a month ago, and like you were saying, he heard that Senzo is going to be made captain of Orlando Pirates, and he was very happy, because this is the boy that embodied Orlando Pirates from as young as 13 years old, playing in the Pirates development. He is Mr. Orlando Pirates, according to him, somebody that really needs to carry Orlando Pirates forward.
Yeah, amazing young man. You could see the effect that it had on the whole of the team. There were tears at the camp yesterday when the news was announced of his passing. But you know, he's a special guy, a special way of celebrating goals when teams scored. Yes. That always stood out for me personally. But what will Senzo be remembered for? And it's really sad to be thinking like that just more than 24 hours later.
I think for me, from a footballing perspective, I think Senzo was the best shot stopper we had in South Africa, better than Itumeleng Khune. Itumeleng Khune commands his area very well. Pound for pound, Senzo as a shot stopper has no peers in this league. And he raised his game. Somebody who saw his shortcomings. When he started Orlando Pirates, he didn't have the start that he expected. I mean, his celebration of jumping and punching the sky after a goal he scored or after Orlando Pirates win will always be legendary. But Senzo was always ahead of Itumeleng Khune as far as the national team is concerned. Went from under 17, under 20, even at under 23. Khune only started overtaking him at under 23. And he pushed Khune to be what Khune is today as far as national team level is concerned. But he is, for me, the best shot stopper that you can find. But when he realized that Khune had overtaken him, he never sat on his laurels and said, no, I'm not going to fight. He fought hard to find himself in a position where now he was commanding that armband, irrespective of whether Khune was injured. I think Sheikh Mashaba was going to have a headache in terms of choosing who was going to be the goalkeeper for him during the qualifier. Hence, he gave him the armband because he knew that the boy had a big heart, the boy had a future, and the boy was supposed to be the leader for Orlando Pirates and the leader for Bafana Bafana. I mean, he made 158 starts for Orlando Pirates. He made 63 clean sheets for Orlando Pirates. Yeah. That's why they call him Mr. Clean Sheet, others.
Yeah, no, Mr. Clean Sheet is no more. David, thank you for joining us and giving us a unique insight into the man. Senzo Mjiwa is no more, but he will live long and very long in the memory of all South Africans.
Yes, yes.
And let's hope, like Leslie Manyatela's Golden Boot will now get a Golden Glove award at the end of every season. That'll be the Senzo Mjiwa award because he's made such a wonderful contribution.
Very much so. I mean, 4 years he was Orlando Pirates' best goalkeeper of the season, including when Munib Joseph was there. Yeah. And last year he won the Chairman's Award for playing 51 out of 53 games for Orlando Pirates. It tells you about the guy. Never gets injured. He's always there, always reliable.
A total servant of South African football. Thanks, David. David Kekana, football analyst, and, well, a man that knows all about the goings-on in South African football. Thanks, David, for joining us today. What are you talking about? What are you saying around this horror story that's played itself out here in South Africa the last 48 hours? Let's take a look at SABC Newsroom. That's where you can give us your contributions on Twitter. We love what you say. Black Soul says, Senzo Mjiwa, may his soul rest in peace. We're keeping the Mjiwa family in our prayers. Rest in peace, young warrior. Yes, a young warrior is no more. Ricky Singh says, the killing of Senzo Mjiwa is symbolic of a South Africa where we report 43 murders a day. Nothing to be proud of. Tragic. That's right, Ricky. It is rather tragic. Bongokosi Ngwenya says, my soul is in mourning. Who would take a life just for an electronic device? R.I.P. Senzo Mjiwa. Jesus will give you justice. I can tell you there are a lot of desperate people in this country. Mangaliso says, why do bad things happen to good people? You've done a lot for this country and therefore I salute you, my good sir. R.I.P. Senzo Mjiwa. R.I.P. King Senzo says, stay strong. Your test will become your testimony. Your mess will become your message. Senzo Mjiwa, rest in peace. Let's now take a look at what's happening elsewhere in the world. These are the front pages from some of the newspapers around the world. The South China Morning Post is reporting that a virus pioneer there has warned that the deadly Ebola outbreak will hit China. This is the death toll from Ebola has soared past 4,900 in West Africa. We go down under. The Australian is looking at a new video that has put a jihadist 17-year-old from Sydney in the firing line. And the Mirror in the United Kingdom is reporting that the bodyguards of Britain's Prime Minister David Cameron have been criticised for allowing a jogger to run into him yesterday. The paper says it could have been a terrorist. Well, isn't that typical? Now, today, in 1961, the anti-apartheid activists Walter Sisulu, Lillian Ngoyi and Alfred Nzo were arrested after attending a party that was used as a cover-up for a political meeting at the house of Lillian Ngoyi. The case was later withdrawn because there was no sufficient evidence provided to prove that the party was in fact a meeting. In October 1963, Sisulu, together with Nelson Mandela and 8 others, were charged for treason and were then convicted. And in June 1964, he was among 8 of the accused sentenced to life imprisonment on Robben Island. You're watching Newsroom. We'll be back after a short little break.
Charge into a participating Dunlop zone for a power deal. Buy 4 15-inch or larger Dunlop or Sumitomo tires and get this free mobile power bank multi-charger. Charge it on the go or on your PC and stay powered up. Come in for a tire deal that will get you amped.
Dunlop zone.
Welcome back. This is Newsroom. If you are active on social media, you are most likely aware of the social media storm that recently erupted over a cancer campaign run by the weekly magazine You. The 23rd October issue of the local magazine had a bold-headed Leanne Liebenberg on the cover, aimed at creating cancer awareness. The outcry ever came over the fact that images of the celebs that went bald for cancer were in fact digitally manipulated. According to You, it only wanted to raise awareness around cancer, but what followed was an outburst by people who found the campaign insensitive. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it seems awareness campaigns, charity events, fundraisers are popping up all over the country these days, some of them more creative than the next one. What are the rules and regulations involved when running campaigns like this? And after all the fun and games, how can one be sure that your money is in fact going to that good cause? Now, joining us today is Lucy Bologna from the Cancer Association of South Africa. And then from Cape Town, we are joined by one of South Africa's finest comedians, Stuart Taylor, who was quite vocal on social media about the recent You campaign. We did invite You magazine to join us on the show as well, but we were told that they have moved on from the matter and are rather focusing on their latest edition, which is this week. We say how very convenient. It's not so easy for cancer sufferers to move on. If I can start with you. Hello, Stuart. Sorry, I didn't even greet you properly. Stuart, good morning to you.
How's it going, Evan? Are you cool?
I'm good, I'm good. Thanks for joining us. But I just want to start with Lucy quickly. Lucy, how do you view this kind of storm that's erupted, and how do you view that kind of, I call it slacktivism, because it's not really activism. You're slacking on the activism part.
Thank you for that, and thank you for the opportunity. I think what happened was that this campaign, although a similar feature was run by a magazine about 4 years ago, and very similar, where they had celebrities and they didn't really shave off their hair, there was quite a good response. So at the time when You approached us, and they actually wanted information on breast cancer and the stats, but then it apparently evolved into this whole thing. But I think that their intentions, and if you look at what the celebrities, what they were trying to say, their messages, were very much just to raise awareness. But I think it has actually offended people, and I think for that we have to listen and we have to acknowledge and respect their views. And I think it was surprising to a lot of people. I think also Wilma van der Bijl, who is a celebrity as well as a cancer survivor, she had actually said, you know, she knew what was going on, and she had said she thought it was excellent. So I think a lot of times people, I think the intentions were really, they really did want to raise awareness, and so many people, there's just so much happening around specifically the month of October. Yeah. So in a way it was, the messages did come across, some of them did offend, and I think from the Cancer Association, we recognise that, and we've been listening. I think there's a big lesson that has been learned from this, in that cancer campaigns seem to have real meaning for people, and that we've got a responsibility to keep it real and authentic. So
the man who's real and authentic is in Cape Town, because, Stuart, you shaved your head a couple of weeks ago. I can see it's grown back quite a bit already, so you're obviously a quick grower. But tell us about, you know, what you did and what you think of this campaign that got it all wrong.
Well, for me it was a bit of a strange thing, because I honestly thought that the celebs had shaved their heads, which would have been a really cool thing to do, you know, lend your voice to this very worthwhile cause. And the fact that they didn't made me a little bit uncomfortable, but what really got to me was You's response to it. Instead of going, cool, we acknowledge, guys, maybe that wasn't the best thing to do, they sort of, they went, no, come on, guys, don't get your back up. Come on now, come on. These people can't shave their heads. They're celebrities. They need their hair, which is a bit of a ridiculous thing. So for me, it's a bit of a two-part thing. Number one, you've got You, come on, just acknowledge that it wasn't a great idea, because there are better people that you could honor. You could honor the woman who was actually doing the shaving. Maybe put her on the cover. She did that for free all day, standing on her feet, shaving people's heads. You know, so there are better people you could honor. But number two, from the celeb side of things, you just kind of go, come on, guys. What's the next step? The next step in the evolution of this is going, okay, on Mandela Day, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Photoshop myself painting a creche in a township somewhere. It'll take me 67 minutes to do that. But that's exactly what it comes down to. You understand the ridiculousness of going, okay, so for cancer, guys, we're going to shave our heads. Now, I'm just going to go for a photo shoot, eh? You do it in post. It makes no sense at all.
I totally agree with you. But now, the key question I want to ask you, because, you know, you're a guy that gets invited to do these kind of things a lot because you are a celebrity. Do we have in South Africa a lot of these look-at-me celebrities who get on the soapbox and stand on causes to promote themselves? Do we have that?
That's the problem with this whole campaign, is that that's what it felt like. It felt like a look-at-me exercise. It felt like they weren't really giving it for the right reason. It felt as though they were doing it as a publicity stunt, as opposed to raising awareness for cancer. And that's my key problem with this whole exercise, was that it did feel like celebs going, oh, cool, how can I benefit out of this, as opposed to how can I give my time to cancer? You know what? Here's how you give your time to cancer. You say, well, I'm going to be at this event. You can come and spray my hair if you don't want to shave it, or you can pay and shave my hair, or you know what, I'm just going to take myself, give my $50 and shave my hair. That's giving back, as opposed to going, oh, look at me, I'm on the cover, I don't have hair. It's so sad.
If I can just respond, not sure where I look. Do I look there?
Oh, both of it, doesn't matter.
I just want to say, Stuart, thank you for that. I think I hear what you're saying, and I think from the celebrities, we've actually had, funny enough, also some positive response, personal feedback of people that have spoken to and called in and also written. And I think that if you look at some of the messages, a lot of them were personally affected. But I think, you know, I think what we've also learned from this whole experience, and I said to you, is that you actually have to put yourself in the audience's shoes, and especially in a cancer survivor's shoes. And I think that's what was missing. It was just too quick and not enough thought. And I agree with you. I just want to say to you that we have been very fortunate. And with Shave-a-thon, we've had Mark Pilgrim, who has been one of the most amazing celebrities, but a cancer survivor as well, who has used his influence, but to physically do something, to raise funds and whatever. And I think what you're saying is, do take real action. We're saying to people, come along, come and spend a day at our Cancer TLC Knickers Lodge, meet the kids, meet the moms, come to our cancer care homes where we do, you know, where we support cancer survivors. So he's saying take real action and don't just do it where it feels exploitive. So we do hear you. I think that was an important message.
Stuart, to wrap it all up, you've really brought a wonderful, a light-hearted but very important focus on this whole thing, is that we do see the rise of this kind of slacktivism on social media, where you can stand with a picture, take a picture of me, bring back our girls. You make no contribution to bringing back our girls, but you've taken the pictures and people are looking at you. How do we deal with this going forward? Is it okay to abuse these celebrities on social media going forward if they do that?
Well, look, I mean, you've got to, it's just a case of, guys, choose what you're going to support and then actually make a contribution, as opposed to just doing 110 things but not actually contributing to anything. That's what it comes down to, I think.
Absolutely, I agree. If you're going to get involved with cancer, give it 100% effort. Don't come and take a picture and move on to the next thing. Oh, look, my new hair that I got today, it's beautiful. Or, you know, I'm wearing so-and-so. Stuart Taylor, you're an absolute soldier and a scholar and a gentleman. I thank you for standing up for this cause, because it's something that I myself feel passionate about, and I share your views on this passionately too. Thanks, Stuart Taylor joined us live from Cape Town, one of the very finest comedians in South Africa. And Stuart, before you go, Stuart, well, your show, let's just give you a punt. Your show is on the Baxter, is it?
No, actually, I've just finished up at the Baxter, but tomorrow night I'm at the Lyric Theatre. You can catch me there with our Wednesday.
Okay.
My show comes to PE this coming weekend at the Boardwalk Theatre, Boardwalk Casino.
There you go. You deserve that punt. Stuart Taylor, thank you for joining us. That's my man. Port Elizabeth, Stuart Taylor is going to be there over the weekend. Go and support him, a man with a big heart. Lucy, just in conclusion, going forward, we put this thing behind us now, but how do you as cancer pick up the ball now and make sure that, you know, we are maybe a little bit more sensitive about what we do?
Well, I think what's important is that we're realizing that cancer is affecting a lot of people. More and more people are speaking out. And, you know, it's also for us, you know, working with some of the media, and when, you know, we don't get budgets to do marketing and promotion, so a lot of the stuff we do ourselves. And when, you know, we've seen, especially with example, Shave-a-thon and some of our other programs, Cancer Relay for Life, where we want to promote and get the message across, a lot of time the feedback we're getting from media is saying, will you have a celebrity there? Will you have a cancer survivor that people are well known? Because then we'll cover the story. So it has been a bit of a almost a double-edged sword. So we're trying to get, but I think the most thing, like I say, we have a responsibility to keep it real and authentic, but to make sure that the message is real.
Yeah.
That the message, is it going to be things that it's about early detection, it's about, you know, being aware, it's about knowing the risks and the symptoms, and about doing something. And we've actually had people that have we've got a platform where people can raise funds online, and we've had 2 guys that have joined and started this video and said, we're here to do it for real. So a lot of this has activated people to get involved.
Lucy, fantastic. Thank you for joining us. We are very glad that we've got alignment on this, and you guys actually at Cancer are aware that, you know, we can't be doing this kind of stuff. I think it's counterproductive, and it goes against the grain of what you guys, all the hard work that you guys do. But fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, what are you saying on this matter? We always love to hear your views, and let's have a look at your opinions. Please remember to send it to us at SABC Newsroom. Tabo Mak says, OMG, just went through our on You Magazine's Cancer Awareness article. Had no idea a lot of people would be so infuriated. Yes, a lot of people were infuriated, but we are living in a time of self-obsession, and I suppose people take it a little bit too far sometimes. Gwala says, Gwala X, that's Kolani. The campaign lacks empathy, real people versus celebrities. You Magazine, a thin line between wrong and right. Hashtag photoshopped. I think that sort of hits at the heart of it. Gwala X, did any of the celebs get paid for the photo shoot? You Magazine? Cancer? No. None of them got paid. They did it out of the goodness of their hearts. I say, bless them for that. Tracy Dale says, wow, I have no words. Disgraceful and insensitive. Hashtag Leanne Liebenberg, let's not attack anybody. It was an honest mistake that we've made in the course of trying to do good. We can move on, and we can all learn from that. Let's take a look at what's happening on our very own Facebook page. There you can, well, today you can see that Australia has issued a blanket ban on visas from West African nations affected by the Ebola outbreak to prevent the disease from reaching precious down under. You'll also see that the misconduct inquiry into 20 EFF members of Parliament will continue on this morning, with Cape Town-based Labour lawyer Randall Van Voer presenting a report to Parliament's Powers and Privileges Committee. Then you can read more on why the National Union of Metal Workers says it will reinstate its court challenge to force the Congress of South African Trade Unions leadership to convene a special national congress. And also see that Bafana Bafana and Cardiff City player Kagiso Dikgatwa has urged police to swiftly arrest Senzo Miyua's killers. You'll find all those stories and a whole lot more on Newsroom's Facebook page. Also, if you can't get onto our Facebook page, sabc.co.za/news, that's where you get all the updates all of the time. This is Newsroom. We'll be back after a short little bit.
Ja, ik heb een paar bezig. Kom.
Well, hello and welcome back here with Newsroom on SABC News. Let's take a look at this morning's top stories. A multidisciplinary police task team has intensified its search for the killers of soccer star Senzo Muyua, who was shot and killed in Vosloorus east of Johannesburg on Sunday night. Forensic experts are busy compiling identikits of the killers. His death has left the country reeling in grief.
Senzo tried to hide Kelly's phone under the sofa. They shot him.
By the time we got there to try and help him to put him in the car, he was looking very powerless and hurt. So we put him in the car and then they drove to the hospital.
But what is going on in this country? Really, it's bad. No, it's bad.
I would like to see them, and I want them to talk why they killed my son.
Meanwhile, Orlando Pirates spokesperson Mickey Modisani has appealed to people on social media to stop being judgmental concerning the US killing and allow the police to conduct their investigations and give the family time to grieve.
Those who hated him, unfortunately, at their own peril. But he was just one guy with an open heart, you know. And that's one thing that we will always remember him for. He would listen. He made mistakes. He was a human being, you know. But wherever we spoke to him about those, he would pull back from that.
And judgment against the man accused of raping and killing 3 Diepsloot children will be delivered in the High Court of Pretoria today. Nkozo Hadebe has denied raping and murdering the toddlers last year. The state has asked for Hadebe's conviction on 3 charges of murder, 3 of kidnapping and 6 of rape. All those top stories and more are available on our Newsroom Facebook page. You can also follow us on Twitter at SABC Newsroom. Eben, over to you.
Thank you very much, Katrin. Now, the Northern Cape is the setting for the 3-day BRICS Trade and Tourism Conference, which will be held in Kimberley and will go up until Friday this week. The City of Diamonds will see investors and business leaders from South Africa and the rest of the BRICS countries taking a long and hard look at the potential in the country's largest province. There are 5 key sectors that will dominate discussions, topped by the ever-growing renewable energy sector. Now, on standby in the Northern Cape's capital is our specialist correspondent, Richard Newton, with more. Very good morning to you, Richard. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Eben.
Richard, what are those 5 key sectors that will dominate discussions then there this morning?
Well, Eben, the first one, as you mentioned, renewable energy. I mean, as I stand here, the wind is blowing. It's going to be another scorcher today in the Northern Cape, and that is what is attracting people. We're looking at the province that has the best potential probably in the Southern Hemisphere, one of the top areas for solar energy. I mean, we have sunlight up the wazoo. I mean, there are other places that wish they had the sunlight we have. And, of course, that is raising a lot of interest amongst our BRICS partners. A lot of people looking to get involved in that. We also look at mining. I mean, Kimberley is well known for the diamonds, but there's a host of other minerals that are mined throughout the province, and a lot of interest in the mining sector. We talk about agriculture. A lot of people forget that the Northern Cape has a coastline, and a beautiful coastline at that. So you have the fishing, you have the shipping industries involved in that. A lot of potential there as well. We look at the knowledge industry, the SKA, which will be coming up here. We look at the Sutherland, the Salt Telescope in Sutherland. I'm told that if you know what to look for, you can see satellites, you can see stars, you can see amazing things at night here. One of the best places to see that. We talk about infrastructure because you need the infrastructure to be able to develop all of these. And of course the great one, tourism. I mean, this massive hole behind me is where it all started, and it's a tourist attraction, as are so many in the Northern Cape. So there'll be a whole host of areas where the BRICS colleagues and the BRICS counterparts will be coming, will be discussing, will be looking at how there can be skills transfers, job creation, investment opportunities. I think it's going to be a good weekend.
What will we as South Africa be hoping to have as a best case scenario come out of this kind of conference, Richard?
Well, I think that if you have a look at, we have colleagues here from Brazil, from Russia, from India, from China, some big hitters with some money to spend on investment. I think we're looking at partnerships where we can have skills transfer, where we can have job creation, where we can have development in areas that haven't seen very much development. And I think that type of partnership will be what everyone's looking for. But I must add that in amongst this great BRICS Trade and Tourism Expo is also an international investors conference, where the Northern Cape will be talking to people from the BRICS countries and beyond about investing in this province, which for a large part has been sidelined, if you like, or forgotten. And the potential here is amazing. And I think this is an opportunity for that to be showcased and for people to have a look and say, wow, who knew that the Northern Cape was as vast and as beautiful and had as much potential as it does.
Richard, finally, it's not all work and no play, though. There's a lot of stuff going on around the conference, isn't there?
Well, of course, you know, even when you're sitting and you're discussing heavy money matters, you need something good to eat afterwards and to relax. And there's going to be a taste of Russia and a taste of Brazil and a taste of India. There's going to be all those opportunities to sample the cuisine of all the countries. Of course, we'll be boasting with all our great meals and opportunities that our visitors can sample. There'll be visits to some of the game farms and game drives in the area, some of the tourist attractions. I mean, behind me here in 1871, people flocked after that shiny stone, left a big hole here, which of course has created legends and created this city that is Kimberley. People will be visiting this type of thing, and it's going to be not all work and no play. There'll be a bit of fun as well, Ewan.
Richard, fantastic. Thank you for giving us that little heads up as to what's happening in Kimberley. It's all happening there. It's the BRICS Trade and Tourism Conference, which kicks off tomorrow. And, of course, lots of business is going to be done there. All good for South Africa. Our economy needs a bit of an input, especially the Northern Cape. But today, we'll finish with New Innovation, digital platform that focuses on amplifying innovation and good news from across Africa. Along with New Innovations, the platform aims to highlight selfless actions by individual companies and governments on the continent. Does that still happen? Katu Mashar, thank you for joining us.
Hey, Evan. It's good to be here. Yes, it's still happening. It's happening. There's a lot of things happening. But I think the great news is that there's a lot of good things that we are... our website alone cannot handle. But I think what is exciting is seeing Northern Cape taking up such big conferences. And
absolutely.
Taking them to smaller provinces.
It's wonderful for it to see this kind of... Yeah. I'm well surprised because, you know, it's taken completely out of the main centres, yes. and that's what's needed. But now, on your side, matric exams started yesterday. One of the headaches for all teenagers is maths. Understand we've got good news on a new app that can really help us. Hey, we're lagging behind in the math field, aren't we?
I also had a problem with maths at matric. I got an S, you know, just see through. See through. There's a new developer who's just developed what we call a photo math. Yeah? It uses a smartphone. You just click, take a shot of that mathematical equation, and then it gives you the answers, but with a step-to-step guide of how do you solve that mathematical equation. You know, if you look at it, the times that me and you were at school doing all that stuff, arithmetic, algebra.
All I had was a pencil sharpener.
It's a challenge. But I think most importantly, people might think, really, do we really need this? But it then enhances how these young people are going to be able to do their mathematics. It will enhance how they actually get to learn a bit further. So young people that do not have teachers or those that do not have specialist teachers in the mathematics field, they can be able to use the same photo math. So I think it's a good idea. We just thought, let us tell them of something and some of the good things that they can still use technology for something better.
Wonderful. It's the way of the future, whether we like it or not. Yeah, that's how the kids are being instructed, and that's how they interact with technology as well. So, you know, we have to do that. Now, bringing it closer to home, water shortages we had in Gauteng, massive water shortages last month. Now, Nzansi Innovated this month has developed a leakless valve that's inserted into a toilet system, and that can save us masses and masses of water.
Definitely. South Africa is losing about 7 billion rands worth of water in a year. Now, this young man, Pasekali Sulwane, who is being incubated by the Innovation Hub in Pretoria, has actually come up with a leakless valve. He's been trying to develop it for a while. Some people have developed musical rhythms through the toilet when it leaks and goes shh. And it actually, it's quite noisy, but it's some noise that we've gotten used to. Did you know that that is actually water leaking? You know, if that water could be stopped totally from the bowl, then you would not have that water going through unnecessarily down the drain. So that is the kind of what the leakless water valve does. It actually stops the motor completely and makes sure that whatever when there's enough water in the bowl, then no water would go through. So he's been developing this for a while, and things have actually started working. It has been registered with a few patents at the moment, and currently is out there in the market, and people can check it out. There's a lot of good things out there happening.
Finally, talk to us about Horyu. Successfully launched the Social Innovation Global Ethics Forum, and you were there.
Yes.
It sounds a dodgy name. Eh?
Well, it's French.
Okay, it's Horyu.
It's Horyu, yes. I was at Geneva over the past few days, the whole of last week. Basically. We were launching this Social Innovations and Global Ethics Forum, which Innovation was a media partner to. But I think the most important thing that we need to know is that as social innovators out there, people like Paseka and a whole lot of people that are doing great things, we need a home that we can belong to, where we can go and share out solutions nationally and internationally, and begin to talk about challenges and solutions that we can be able to bring about, and those that we need to share with our own governments and share with the society in general. So Horyu is a network of academic scholars, innovators that get together. Besides the SciGEF, which is just a conference that happens annually, on Horyu.com, there's constant interaction where a lot of people can be able to get onto and begin to understand what is happening in Brazil, what's happening in Ghana. For example, some of the people that I met are people like Congoshans who are actually assisting women beyond just those that have come out of rape victims and stuff, to say, single women, how can we be able to help? The last one that I met is a guy who is, he called themselves Hip Hop Saves Lives. Chad Harper, he actually took hip hop, he comes through and he teaches young kids how to write songs, and from there he creates a music video, and it becomes educational. So those are some of the social innovations that we got to find, and it was successfully launched, and well done to Horyu and the team.
Well, fantastic. You're becoming a jet setter, Katu, you know. Well, I wish I had your life.
I'm in Berlin next week for the Falling Walls.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. Thanks for joining us as always. Well, one of the founders of New Innovation, Katu Machar, always joining us to tell us what's happening in innovation in Africa. That's where we wrap it today. Newsroom is broadcast live from our studios in Auckland Park, Johannesburg, every weekday morning between 9 and 10 a.m. The show repeats at 2 in the afternoon with a rebroadcast at 5 a.m. the following morning. We also stream live on YouTube at that time, with the show available on demand on our YouTube channel. This is SABC News. You've been watching Newsroom. We love it in the morning.